So hello everyone. How you doing? Welcome if you are new to the channel, and welcome back if you love me, because I love you too. We are here for the Feelings Expose Self Secrets themed moon event for the new moon in Scorpio. I just did the cosmic currency for this event, so I urge y'all to go and check it out. Members who is this the last reminder that I'll give you guys so that I'm not repeating it in every video, but memberships for Divine Rebels and Soul Star tiers have been removed due to my work schedule being crazy, and all of that has been refunded. Okay, if you had paid for a new month when I canceled them, then that was refunded for you. You should have gotten emails and things like that. If you want to re-sign as a Pineapple patron, you can. All right, that is the only tier left remaining. There are also 2 secret codename slots available for new moon in Sag. I think it's on my birthday on December 1st. And those are the only 2 secret code names available for the rest of the year. All of the other events have completely sold out. The only reason why I think there's still 2 slots open is because I literally put an extra 2 slots in just because it was my birthday. And I was just like, I'm going to do 6 readings instead of 4. So if you want your own secret code name message and haven't got one yet, that event still has 2 spaces available, and you can get it in the Etsy shop. All right, that's in the description below. Okay, with that, we are going to get into these secret code name readings, and Spirit gave me to them showing me flowers. So the secret code names are Witch Hazel, the yellow flower, right? Forget-me-nots, Scarlet Begonia, and black irises. All right, black iris. Witch Hazel, Forget-me-not, Scarlet Begonia, and Black Iris. So if any of those secret code names jump out at you and they are not your personal reading, chances are there is a message in there for you. Everybody who purchases the secret code name event readings knows which secret code name is theirs. It is their personal reading. But the beauty of it is that if you resonate to it or are drawn to the code name, then they're for you. All right, now I'm gonna do this event a little bit different. I was guided to my Harrow cards. I was guided to my hand-drawn deck and my energy alignment deck, my Divine Conversations deck, and the Naked Heart Tarot. And what I do is I'm going to shuffle them out in piles and then start each secret code name from there. I'm going to get all the shuffling out in the beginning. So there will be timestamps in the replay so that you can fast forward to the message without necessarily dealing with all of the shuffling. All right. So, Spirit, please. For secret code names, Witch Hazel, Forget-me-not, Scarlet Begonia, and Black Iris, what Harrow card is meant for them to receive in their highest good with this theme of feelings, expose self-secrets? How our feelings expose the secrets of the self and what we're healing through in the divine mirror of things, right? What card? What card? I'm not looking. I'm making sure they're all face down. I'm not looking. I'm going to be surprised as all of you guys. Okay. first deck is down. Hand-drawn cards. Spirit, please. What cards are in their highest good to receive? That was more than one. I hope it wasn't a million. I just do as spirit guides me. Spirit picks the cards. I just read. Okay. Okay. 2 decks down. Ooh, we might have an overall reading. Energy alignment deck, spirit keys. Keep going. Okay. We're still going for Witch Hazel. All right, moving on to Forget-Me-Not. Still going for Forget-Me-Not, okay. More, okay. That feels good. All right. Moving on to Scarlet Begonia. Trying to move these cards around out of my peripherals. Oh my God. I'm trying not to look. All right, and for Black Iris. There's more, okay. All right, that feels good. And Divine Conversations. More for Witch Hazel. What divine conversation is Spirit having with you? For Forget-Me-Not. Okay. For Scarlet Begonia. What divine conversation is Spirit having with you? I feel like there's one more. And for Black Iris. Black irises really are so pretty. I think black flowers are so mysterious in general. That's a lot. Which ones are we taking? That one. And that one. Okay. Alright. Last deck. Naked Heart Tarot. Please, Spirit, give an overall energy for the feelings being exposed in the self. Okay. Ooh. Bottom of the deck is the Strength card. We also have, you have an unexpected ally, someone you haven't connected with in a while. Reach out energy. Yes, them. We also got expressive as the light attribute and purposeless on the bottom as the shadow. We've got the match on top of the hand-drawn cards and the cricket on the bottom of the Harrow deck. So, the cricket energy. It's neutral good. The cricket is a grig, a creature whose mind is as quick as its body. It represents speed and quick passage. Although the cricket is commonly associated with travel, the peach it sits by represents treasure at the end. Okay. Whatever it is that you may be going through right now, and this is more collective. All right. This is more collective. Whatever you might be going through right now, and it probably has a lot to do with the Venus and Sag energy, right? Sag being associated with travel. I feel like having conversations, lighting that match in the dark, allowing yourself to see, giving people the gift of seeing. It does require a lot of strength, right? It does require a lot of strength to kind of override the internal conflict that we have in being communicative, especially when maybe deceit was involved, or we were chasing after a wish and didn't know any better in hindsight. You know, when we had a certain vision of what is supposed to be and what's fair, when the heart's truth always knew the path to victory. And life is supposed to be reciprocal, right? It's supposed to be reciprocal. And sometimes we go through things where we feel stunted, but where we learn, right? Where there is a lot of pain, but we learn through the pain. Pain is a teacher. It's an alchemist, right? It's a catalytic energy where we are put in a position to really defend the self, to stand up for the self and defend the self. In regards to these sacred soul contracts that we have with other people, right? That get us to where we are meant to be via the experience we have with them, right? So overall, across the board, if you're thinking about reaching out or wonder if you should, or have thought about it for a long time and have keep making excuses not to, or have real reasons why you shouldn't, or that you're denying it or whatever, lighting a match in the dark can only help you see. And that is the collective memo. All right. The first secret code name, let me get the timestamp in here. For secret code name Witch Hazel, we have the Eclipse, the Forge, and the Dark Knight. We also have sexual inspiration, clairvoyant, and healing oriented as the light attributes. The shadow attributes are apathetic, in serious denial, and bitter. Your tarot card is the Innocence or Page of Swords. And your advice we'll get into in a minute. Okay. The divine conversation the Spirit is having with you. The eclipse energy. Let's talk about that. The eclipse is a wisdom card. And it's lawful evil, right? Contracted shadow contracts. The eclipse represents self-doubt and loss of purpose. Interesting, that's on the bottom, right? The collective energy. Represents self-doubt and loss of purpose. This card afflicts those with faith in the divine, as their talents can wane under the stress. It can also indicate a loss of way along the path. So the person whose secret code name is Witch Hazel, right? And those who are drawn to it most likely got tied up in a twin flame connection or multiple potential twin flames, right? Maybe you thought it was one person, then thought it was another person, or whatever. You have faith in the divine. You believe in integrity and moral compass, right? Hey, Lorraine, good morning. You have a connection to spirit. And whoever you involved yourself with or got tangled with tried to break your spirit. You were in the middle of a dark night, right? The forge. And either you were going to get turned into something completely unusable, or you were going to be turned into something much better. If you took the route of better, I do think that you came out of it inspired and maybe found your own sexual power, including celibacy. That sex is sacred, right? That you're not just going to allow your energetic juice to mingle with just anybody else's. You came out more clairvoyant, more clear knowing, more clear seeing, and you're healing oriented, right? If you've come out of the dark night, the forge with this ecliptic energy for the better. If you're in the shadow of this energy, after having gone through the dark night of someone, apathy, right? Being apathetic and serious denial and bitter. Apathy kind of exudes this vibration of not caring if you live or die, not caring about anything, right? Not caring at all. It's apathy. And are maybe in denial of your own intuition, right? Your own clairvoyance, in denial of it. You're bitter because you're not healing oriented. You're focusing on the pain, right? If you were in the shadow of these feelings. And I think, feelings exposing self-secrets. If you are in the light of this, hey, Megan, good morning. If you are in the light of this and you are feeling sexually empowered, you are feeling that clairvoyance and that trust in your intuition, that trust between you and spirit, that you're healing oriented and focusing on forgiveness, not just of other people, but of yourself, right? For getting into these dark contracts, these shadow contracts that were always intended to make you better, that were always intended to make you stronger, right? Fortifying yourself. I think that feelings exposing self-secrets, if you are in the light of this, then You've come out of the dark night and have healed. You came out of the forge and came back something much sharper, much more functional in life, you know, that you are more capable in communicating, right? It's almost like the Page of Swords. It's like this beginner's mind where you've reset your perspective about people and situations and yourself and what you are or aren't willing to put up with. If you feel bitter, if you feel like you don't care about anything and you don't care if you live or die, well, then the self-secret exposed, you are in your shadow. You are in the middle of your dark night. You experience an ecliptic energy, someone who literally was sent here to try and dull your shine, someone who literally came here to put you through the forge and make you non-functioning, non-purposeful. And the secret would be that perspective-wise, you might be naive, seeing someone as the villain instead of the teacher, right? I feel like for the person who's reading this I definitely feel like you're more in the light of it, right? Secret code name Witch Hazel. I feel like you're more in the light of it. I think you're coming out stronger than you were, better functioning than you were, more purpose-filled than when you went into the dark night, coming out of the forge and becoming something better, right? That the eclipse passed. For other people who are guided to this message, you might need to see the light on the other side, right? The match in the dark. You might need to see the light, and that there is more than feeling bitter. There is more than not caring to the point of, you know, you don't care if you live or die. You don't care about anything, right? There's more to it than that. If you can recognize the fact that you were essentially spiritually targeted because you had such a strong faith in the divine, because you were so divinely connected, because you trusted your intuition. If you can accept that you had a spiritual adversary come into your space to try and take you out, to take you out of the ripple, to take you out of the greater healing, to take you out of the collective light. If you can accept that you had learning and healing to do in order to become stronger, in order to become more sharp, in order to function better in society and life and the greater good of everybody, that your ripple would be better and more effective if you came out of it light. You got tangled up with a person who is trying to make you non-functioning, who wanted to take you out of the divine equation, who wanted you to never trust yourself, who wanted to break your faith in spirit, break your faith in God, break your faith in the divine, not trust your intuition, second guess yourself, feel broken, feel bitter, never love again, right? Never give again. They want to take you out of the equation. The guidance, the divine conversation. It says, seriously, go grounding. Clear out all that energy you're holding that isn't yours. Release. The darkness that you feel is not yours. It is the energy of the person you tangled yourself with, especially if you shared sacred fluids with them. Go grounding. Visualize that energy, that shadow, that pain going down from your body, through your legs, through your feet, and into the earth so that Gaia can transmute it. It's above your pay grade to hold it. Give it to the earth. The earth can take it. It's meant to. It's meant to. It vibrates at a healing frequency, especially for us. So if you are feeling bitter, if you are feeling like you don't care about anything, including your life, if you don't care, and you've hit that low, ground it out. It's not your energy. It's not yours. What you're feeling is not yours. You connected to the energy of the person who is literally feeling that way. Yeah, feeling lost. Feeling lost. That's exactly what the eclipse is. It feels lost. Like you've lost your way. And it's because you went down a path with someone who was literally intending to take you off your path and get you lost. They wanted you lost. They wanted you to lose your mind. They wanted you to lose your heart. They wanted you to lose your connection to spirit. They wanted you to lose because you were the light. The darkness wanted you to lose because you are the light. It says there's order to my chaos. Nothing is what it seems. If it makes no sense, it's because it doesn't. And you are to stop trying to make sense of it. Maybe thinking it is crazy. Stop trying to make sense of it. If it makes no sense, how could someone be like that? How could someone treat me like that? I was good to them. I loved them. I cared about them. I gave them all these chances. How could they be like that? It doesn't make any sense. Don't try and make sense of it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And you are to stop trying to make it make sense. Thinking it needs to make sense is crazy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And it's okay. The little green writing that I have in the background says, sips my tea. Right? Spirit sips its tea. Like, don't try and make sense of it. There's a method to the madness. There's order to the chaos. You went through that forge. You went through the dark night. You made it out of the ecliptic energy because you were light. And the light cannot be dimmed. It can try all at once. But it makes no sense to try and block the light and pretend it's not there. Of course the light is there. The eclipse, whatever is eclipsing the sun, is eventually going to pass. It can't stay there forever, and the light will still be there. So you may have experienced apathy, denial, bitterness, but the reality is all that energy is only keeping these things out. That's all those shadows are doing. They're keeping this out. You can be healing oriented. You can forgive yourself for being distracted down a path that you actually had to go down in order to come to the conclusion that you are powerful in these things. Hey, Miss Ruby Jewel. Beginner's mind, right? Seeing things from a new perspective, childlike innocence of thought. What if all they did instead of breaking you was making you stronger? All that time you were in the forge, all that time you were in the dark night, and they were hammering and hammering away with you. And you had all this intense energy, right? This fired up energy. You were in this intensity and they were just hammering away at you, trying to make you something different, only for you to come out stronger, sharper, and more purposeful than you were before. They thought they were deforming your spirit, and you just came out better. Don't be bitter. Don't be bitter. Be grateful. They showed you just how fucking strong your light is. Just how strong your spirit to the divine is. Just how deeply connected to yourself and what is right you are. You didn't make any mistakes. You fortified yourself. You upgraded. You upgraded. Yeah, don't be bitter, be better. 100%. That is secret code name Witch Hazel. Feelings expose self-secrets. You are better off than you realize. And I would hold a lot of gratitude for the Dark Night and the Forge, because it really did end up showing you just how strong and purposeful you really are. Your ripple's going to be that much better because of it. The lives of the people that you get to touch is going to be that much better. All right. Secret code name, Forget-Me-Not. Your cards. We've got the Keep, the Scissors, Authentic, Broken in the reverse, and Transparent. We got 3 guidance cards for you. We'll get there in a minute. And you got the Innocence or Page of Cups. You're welcome, Lorraine. I love you. All right, so the Keep. Keep is a strength card. It is a neutral good strength card. The Keep is a symbol of quiet strength, one that can move when necessary, yet stand firm through the greatest hardship. Those represented by the Keep are not shaken by any force. A quiet symbol of strength that can move when necessary and stand firm through hardship. Not easily shaken. Feelings expose self-secrets. I think you had to cut someone off or something, right? Someone or something. It could be an experience. It could be a job. It could be a place, right? We're living. Because you were just being authentic. You were just being authentic. You were moving through your own brokenness, right? The reverse side of this card is balanced. And you were maybe finding that, right? That balanced place within yourself. You were just being authentic. The shadow is lost. And to be fair, you may have been authentically lost. It's just where you were in the divine timing of things. Transparent, the opposite side is hides and keeps secrets or ashamed. I feel like you're just being honest. And it's not that you don't care. I think you're sorry, right? The Page of Cups can represent sincerity and forgiveness and apology. I think that you genuinely needed to move on from things because you maybe refused to feel broken. You were seeking some kind of inner union. And I'm getting this vibration of like being genuine. That Forget-Me-Not was your flower, right? That Spirit showed me for your secret code name. Like, you're not going to be forgotten. And I feel like you can't forget those people either. Where your authentic path to healing And just being honest meant you had to move forward, right? It meant that you had to be strong and move forward. And that had to have been hard, you know? When we're being true to ourselves, when we're being authentic, and we don't necessarily know where we're going, we just know we can't stay where we're at, right? The house is moving. We just know we can't stay where we're at. I definitely feel like you've had to cut people off along the way. And there's compassion there. And I think the compassion you feel towards other people is a reflection of the compassion that you have for yourself in choosing what you did. Like, to just stay, you would have never really found balance. It would have felt inauthentic. It would have felt like you were forcing it. It would have made you keep secrets, you know? Flipping all the cards over and giving their messages. Lost, balanced, hiding and keeping secrets because you're ashamed of the self. Trying to keep that harmony, but losing the self. That's when you start hiding and keeping secrets. And exposing those feelings, right? Feelings exposed, self-secrets. I think that if you are feeling lost and you're in a misaligned energy where the balance is being lost, right? Because it's the reverse side in reverse. When you feel lost and are losing your inner balance, you're going to start hiding things and keeping secrets. And that's how you know you're misaligned. That's how you know it's time to go. That's how you know it's time to have those transparent communications about what is authentic for you. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that's your clue. When you're healing, you are authentic and you are transparent and you are letting certain things or places or people go and being strong despite it. The guidance cards that came out. It says, you are somewhere you don't belong. It's not the future you're trying to make it be. Let it go. Dispel your pride, you didn't fail. Dispel your pride, you didn't fail. It says stay in your lane and don't move so fast or be in such a hurry that you miss your exit. Feel good about your direction. Feel good about the direction you're moving in. It says you know they are thinking of you too. Whatever differences there are can be worked out. You're too close to quit now. Thinking of you too. Forget me not. Like, the differences can be worked out in time. Not necessarily between the two of you, but between the self and the self in regards to the other. The differences can be worked out in time. You can understand them. They can understand you in hindsight and why it didn't work out then. hindsight is a blessing. Hindsight is such a blessing. And sometimes when we're authentic and we move on, we really start to see the things that were keeping us lost, that were taking that inner balance away, right? Keeping us from loving the self and who we have in our life. Things that we were ashamed of about the self, right? The things that we were keeping a secret. When you're authentic and transparent, it allows others to do the same. It allows others to find the same energy, because ripple. Don't ever think that you failed because you had to let something go. Like the relationship failed. No, it didn't fail. You weren't meant to be there. Stay in your lane. Don't go so fast that you miss the exit. Don't be so busy and caught up in life that you ignore your feelings or you ignore your truth. Feel good about the direction you're moving in. They think on you too. They think back on it. They reflect on it. They learn from it. They heal from it. Like even my son today was reflecting on a person that was in his life a few years ago. And he's still reflecting on it and learning things. He could never forget that person. They've been one of his greatest teachers. And they haven't even been around. And they're still teaching him. You know what I mean? Just like people are still teaching you in hindsight when you reflect on your dynamicship with them. They're still learning and healing, reflecting on their dynamicship with you, even if you are not around each other. Even if there's been an unreal amount of time put between you. When you show compassion for yourself, other people find it for themselves. And I think that is the biggest thing to take away from this message. Time doesn't stop the healing. Time promotes it. Space doesn't take away the healing. Space promotes it. Sometimes you have to be strong and move forward in order for things to actually unbreak, right? For things to heal. A secret code name, 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐴𝐻. Stay real. Stay transparent. It works wonders in the ripple. All right. Scarlet Begonia. Let's get your cards. We've got the brass dwarf, the chrysalis, the pedestal in the reverse, assertive in reverse, sympathetically understanding in reverse, creative, and comfort zone stagnation as the shadow. I got your 3 guidance cards here. And your overall was the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. The reverse side of assertive is tyrannical. The reverse side of sympathetically understanding is vindictive. Opposite side of creative is addict. And the opposite of comfort zone stagnation is adventurous. The brass dwarf is a constitution card. It's lawful, neutral contracts. It's neither good nor bad, but it's a contract that is neutral. The brass dwarf shows an Azure who represents invulnerability to a current danger. Although others might fall, he remains hale and strong. The brass dwarf can also mean a failure or dark fate for one, which in turn might save all others around them from greater danger. I love that card. And I feel like it's multiple people. But you're kind of protected, right? You're going through a transformative process with the chrysalis. Especially if you have taken someone off the pedestal because you were not put on the pedestal. It sucks for them. You weren't put on the pedestal, so you're not losing anything except a fucking headache. But the person you had on a pedestal had everything to gain and is losing that, right? It sucks to be them. I think the issue is you're struggling with being assertive, which is bordering on tyrannical. It could flip there. It's not there. It's still in the light. You're not necessarily being assertive as you could be. If you lose control of the assertiveness, it could dip into tyranny, where you're dictating things and forcing things and being a tyrant, right? Trying to make it something that it's not, or trying to make someone what they're not. I think you've let go of sympathetically understanding someone or blind empath type energy. I think you no longer sympathize with whoever came off the pedestal. You just have to watch that it doesn't become vindictive. When you lose sympathy, when you can no longer relate, or understand why they are the way they are, or choose what they choose. You really got to be careful not to dip into vindictive or revengeful type energy. I said, I don't think you're there. We're still in the light attributes of the card. They didn't fall out in the shadow. But I think that your patience is waning with someone or situation. It could be anything from a partner to a family member to an employer, okay? Take it as it resonates. But I think that your patience has worn thin. I think you had it on a pedestal or valued it highly at one point. Gave up a lot of yourself for it at one point. You're going to come out of the situation essentially unscathed as the brass dwarf. But I think you're really starting to recognize that the reality is not ideal. right? The Two of Pentacles is typically the juggling of reality and ideality. And I think the time has run out, right? The hourglass on this card. I think the time has run out. I think you're realizing that something is not ideal. The reality is what it is. It's not ideal. And you're stagnating in a comfort zone. The longer you stay there, the more you feel like you're stagnating. And you're a creative individual, right? You have this creative energy to you that came out in the cards. Like, you are the creator of your life. You know that you could create anything. And to continue in this specific creation, to continue with these specific people or in these specific circumstances or situation, whatever, you know it's not benefiting you at all. Like, staying in the chrysalis isn't serving you. You need to spread your wings. You need to break the fuck out and spread your wings. It's going to suck for everybody else when you fly away. It's going to suck for everybody else, but it's not going to suck for you. You're going to be a beautiful butterfly. They can all eat shit, right? They can eat their own shit. I feel like that's where your energy is. So, feelings expose self-secrets. I think when you are in dynamic shifts where you don't feel like you can be assertive, where you can't put yourself in their shoes and understand certain things, when you do feel like you're stagnating, that's your cue. Like, that's when you know that you need to take the value of someone that you've put so high and bring it back down to reality, because the reality and the ideal are not the same. I think that if you were to find yourself being tyrannical, being controlling, feeling vengeful, being addicted to this idea of the ride and controlling it, controlling the adventure. Power's a trip. It's literally like that. It's like a power trip. To be in the shadow of this energy, for those who are, guided to the secret code name, not necessarily the person who's reading it is, because it came out in the light, but the opposite side of this coin, to be on a power trip and try and force people because they're not giving you what you want or they're not living up to your expectations, that's how you know you got to go. That's how you know you got to go. When you have put yourself in a power trip position and are addicted to that power and forcing people to put you on a pedestal when they won't. Forcing them to respect you, forcing them to consider you, getting pissed off at them when they don't. Like, that's not the vibe you want to be in. That's the shadow. That's the shadow. Addicted to the drama. That's when you got to remember that you are in a shadow of a comfort zone and you can create better. You can create better. You don't have to accept those who do not sympathetically understand you, who can't put themselves in your shoes and reciprocate and treat you with respect. That you feel like you can't be assertive and that you have to be submissive or quiet or silent or whatever. You don't want to dip into aggression. We're at the extremes of it. Your guidance cards, divine conversation being had. It says, darling, you are more capable than you've given yourself credit for. Simply commit, forever, now, and always. You are capable of creating better. We all must acknowledge our mistakes You let go of someone you shouldn't have and owe an apology. Always right your wrongs. What's fair is justice. A great example, not necessarily your reality, but a great example would be maybe you got hung up on a partner, or maybe you got hung up on a certain job and poured all of your time and energy into it and totally screwed over or forgot about your best friend and soul, who would have been there for you through anything. Maybe you got short with them. Maybe you got testy with them. Maybe you cut them off because they didn't understand and blah, blah, blah. And it's because you were putting some crazy thing on a pedestal that didn't need to be on a pedestal. Maybe your friend should have been on the pedestal, right? The one who loves you unconditionally, would always be there for you. It's that kind of energy. We all need to acknowledge our mistakes. Like, there were a couple times where I had friends in toxic relationships. They were in toxic relationships with people, and they completely checked out for like 2.5 years, 4 years, and they're toxic shit. I lost my best friend. Maybe you owe an apology to someone. Maybe you do. And lastly, it says, they mean well, but they are wounded. Keep taking their guidance and you are only wounding yourself. Their story is not your story. Just because someone else went through it, just because someone else lived it, and they're guiding you a certain way, doesn't mean it's your story. They mean well. They could mean well. Like, a great example would be like an uncle and a nephew talking. And maybe the uncle got cheated on multiple times by their wives. Maybe they got cheated on multiple times. Multiple marriages, every wife cheated. And they're talking to their nephew, and their nephew is explaining a couple things. And the uncle says, look, she's probably cheating on you. Like, women cheat. They all cheat. Just live your best life. Don't worry about her. Like, you do you. If you want to cheat on her back, like, it doesn't matter. You know, it's life. Cheating's a part of life. And that was the guidance they gave. Maybe the partner wasn't cheating. But because that was his perspective and he was wounded and those are the things that he went through, the advice given made sense to him. But they're wounded. They gave guidance through a wounded lens. And to follow their advice, right, for the nephew to take that advice and cheat anyway, because fuck it, she probably is cheating. I'm just going to live my best life. If it hurts her, oh well, she's cheating anyway. With no proof, just assuming. Well, the nephew gets caught cheating and his partner never was. That really sucks, doesn't it? He took some shitty advice. It's not that the person didn't mean well. It's not like his uncle didn't mean well. But he was guiding from a wounded place. You can only guide others as far as the wounds that you have healed. And you will bleed all over people who didn't cut you if you don't heal it. The uncle would have bled all over his nephew and his relationship. Their story is not your story. Just because your uncle has lived a life of treachery and deceit and cheating women does not mean it's your story. It doesn't mean it's your story. My mother growing up would talk about how much she regretted getting married. If she could do it all over again and she could not get married, she would. She would just stay single forever. Marriage was a prison. And she told me to always stay independent. that marriage is a prison. She meant well. She didn't want me to feel trapped in a prison. But she was also giving me that guidance from a wounded place. Yes, I am wildly independent right now. But am I closed off to the idea of being with someone forever? Finding my person? Having a happy marriage? No, I'm not closed off to that. We all make mistakes. Going back and correcting those mistakes to the best of our ability is key. Knowing that you're capable of creating better than people before you have created is key. The more you heal within yourself, the better guide you are to others. Focus on your healing. Right, focus on your healing. Don't get caught up in the comfort zone and the drama of things. Don't turn into that tyrant. Don't turn into that controlling, vindictive person. If someone isn't going to put you on the pedestal, and you've got to take them off of it, because the ideal and the real are not the same, then you just need to simply bust out of your chrysalis and fly. You will come out of it unscathed. It's the way that it works. You deserve to get what you give. If you give your best, you deserve the best. Karma is a real thing. It can work in your favor. It can work in your favor. That was secret code name Scarlet Begonia. You might want to look up these flowers too. They all have like spiritual meanings. Like I would look them up. If you were guided to a certain flower, I would look them up. All right. Black iris. Let's see what your cards are. We've got the rabbit, the broken mind, grounded, abundant in reverse, judgmental of others, ignores self-improvement, the shadow in the reverse, sovereign, that's my second favorite word, and loyal in the reverse. Your overall card, we've got 4 divine conversation cards. We'll get there. Your overall card was the 8 of Wands. All right. The Rabbit Prince. It's a dexterity card. It's chaotic neutral. The Rabbit Prince is a quirky fellow who represents the vagaries of hand-to-hand combat. The prince is battle personified and nothing if not capricious. As his broken sword symbolizes, any combatant can fail in battle no matter how brave or skilled. This card sometimes stands for younger members of royalty or other powerful households. Powerful children, right? Whether it is you as a powerful child to your parents, or the fact that you have powerful children in your midst, right? And you are their parents. Not every battle can be won, no matter how skilled you are. The symbol that the rabbit is making is the same as the Hierophant card in tarot, which I learned today is also a symbol that Baphomet is seen using. But it's tied to wisdom, okay? It is tied to wisdom. Not all battles can be won. The Broken Mind card. There you had a demon in your midst, someone who is heavy shadow, who you registered in your head as an angel. You saw the angel in them, despite the fact that they are heavy, heavy shadow. Deeply wounded person. You're also getting a lot of like pings, intuitive pings, synchronicities, intuitive downloads. Eight of Wands is fast, high-speed movement. The opposite side of grounded is chaotic. The opposite side of abundance is paternal wounding. Judgment of others ignores self-improvement, reverse. The opposite is self-accepting. The reverse of sovereign is energy vampire. And the reverse of loyal is abandonment wounds, self-sabotaging. Feelings expose self-secrets. I feel like you yourself feel like you're in your strength, but it's coming at a cost. Like abundance in the reverse, or feeling a sense of lack, right, is stemming from some kind of paternal wound or father wound. I think that with the judgmental of others and ignores self-improvement in the reverse, I feel like you are not just starting to accept other people for where they are, but accepting yourself, right? To have the shadow in the reverse means the light attribute is coming in. I think you're not judging others as harshly anymore, or are as quick to judge. I think you're looking at it more as a mirror to reflect in. That other people's energy is not affecting you the same way, right? Feeling sovereign. That it doesn't matter what other people do or what other people choose or how other people react. It's not going to ruin your day. You know, they could be having a bad day all they want. They could be stressed out all they want, but you're not going to be having a bad day or be all stressed out with them. The loyalty in reverse, abandonment wounds, self-sabotaging. It's when we take it personal. When other people are not loyal to us and we take it personal, we develop abandonment wounds, okay? And we start to self-sabotage in other relationships because we took the disloyalty as a personal thing. Feeling lack. If you're feeling lack, you've got to remind yourself or be consciously aware of the fact that that wound, that lack wound, comes from your father. Not having enough. Or getting enough. Putting out too much. I think you're grounded when you're sovereign. Not all battles can be won. And I think when we are in the face of people who we see in such a positive light, we really don't see how wrought with shadows they are. And I could speak from experience. Like, I was a daddy's girl. I loved my dad. And I knew he had his problems. He was a bad alcoholic, a gambler. And I loved him anyway. You know, it didn't come without moments where I was completely pissed off at his vices. But I loved and kind of idolized my dad for a long time. And I realized, you know, almost a decade now since I've talked to him in hindsight, he really did have such a lack mentality. And he did always struggle with money, especially being a gambler and an addict. And I felt betrayed. I felt betrayed by my father. But I tell this story in brief, because God knows I can go on rambling. I tell the story in brief because you don't have to take those wounds on for yourself. Like, there was a point in my life where I was literally reliving my father's nightmare with my ex. I was reliving the nightmare. And it dawned on me one day. And it was someone that I literally, their shadows were overwhelming. They were wrought with shadow. And I just saw the best in them. I didn't realize as a young girl how wrought with shadow my father was. Until I found myself in a situation where I was reliving it. And it hit me one day like lightning, and I realized I cannot win this battle. It's better if I walk away. I surrender. Wave that white flag of spirit. Spirit, I surrender. This is not my battle. This is someone else's spiritual battle that I just found myself in the middle of no man's land in. They are at war with themselves, and I just literally walked right into the middle of it. And I can't take it personal, right? And I judged my dad. I judged the person that I was with, my ex. But that's because I was ignoring my own self-improvement. It wasn't until I started to forgive and I started to open up to myself in the mirror of things that I started to let go, that I actually moved past it. Right? And I think that's where you're at. I think at this point, you're starting to let go of the idea that certain people meant to be loyal to you and aren't is not a personal attack against you. It is the fact that they are wrought with shadows and you were not seeing all their shadows in your ideal vision of them, who you wanted them to be. You know, sometimes we only see the good in people because we don't want to see the bad. We don't want to believe that the bad is there. I didn't want to see the bad in my father. I didn't want to believe it was there. My father was a weak man. He was a weak man. So was my ex. They were so weak. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. I wanted to believe what I wanted to believe them, that they were, you know. We can't win every battle. The opposite cards to flip these all over. If you were to go the shadow route with this and take the loss hard, right? The lost battle. If you were to take it hard, you would dive into chaos and become an energy vampire. Just sucking the light out of people with your wounds. You'd be having to release that paternal wounding energy. You'd be letting go of self-acceptance. And you'd have to release the abandonment wounds, the self-sabotage. This is where they're at. In chaotic, energy vampiric place. They've got wounds from their father. Issues surrounding loyalty. They attract people. Maybe they attract people who are not loyal, or are attracted to people in general who are not loyal. My mother wasn't loyal to my father, and my ex, he wasn't loyal either. He wasn't loyal either. My ex reminded me a lot of my mother. In not good ways. We had all the same expressions of those wounds, like my dad. Alcoholism, the whole bit. To find yourself in the shadow of this, you would be rejecting yourself and your sovereignty, and that you are not the wounds of other people. That just because they bled on you doesn't mean you are bleeding. Yes, you have blood on you, but it's not your blood. You can wash it off. You're not cut. They are. Sovereign is acknowledging that just because other people bleed doesn't mean you are bleeding. That's sovereignty. Just because other people are wounded and bleeding on you does not mean you are bleeding just because you're covered with blood. It's not your wound. Sovereignty is reminding yourself it is their wound. It's not mine, and it's not going to affect my day. The guidance cards. It says, you know you are wasting your money, spending it on the wrong things. Help yourself. Pay off your debts and save. And we had that abundance card in the reverse. You're wasting your money, spending it on the wrong things. Help yourself. Don't be giving your good money to the wrong energy. We all have friends that need to borrow money, family that needs to borrow money, great, wonderful ideas that this project we can buy. We're going to buy all this stuff for this project and then never do it. Like, stop wasting your money on whoever or whatever it is. Pay off your debts and save your money. You don't have to help everybody else. Maybe that is a lesson that you're learning from your dad, right? Lying is for cowards, and secrets are dishonorable. Face the truth, let it set you free. The truth is the only way out. Lying is for cowards, and secrets are dishonorable. The truth is the only way out. Don't lie and say you're fine when you're not. Confront it. No, I'm not fine. Keeping how you feel a secret. There's no honor in that. There's no honor in that. It can be as simple as that. Of course, it can be bigger, but it can be as simple as that. Keeping secrets is dishonorable. And people around you in life that would do that, that would keep secrets from you or lie to you, see the shadow for what it is. People who don't tell the whole story, they only tell the part that makes them look good. What's meant for you is meant for you. Stop thinking you screwed it all up. Life, relationships, love, finances, you didn't screw it up. You created opportunities to learn. And now you must seize alignment to grow. Evolution. You didn't screw anything up. Matter of fact, your free will choice chose this life and experience before you got here. The choices that you're making now are not of your free will. You already made these choices. You already made these choices. You're literally living out the choice you made. None of it's a mistake. You made them all so that you can learn certain things, as is everybody else. The choice was already made. Anything you choose is not screwing it up. You chose to experience certain people. You chose to experience and witness certain things to learn, to evolve. Help comes from the last person you'd expect. Stay genuine and honest. Truth helps. Second truth card. The opinions of others don't matter. Help comes from the last person you'd expect. Stay genuine and honest. Truth helps. The opinions of others don't matter. Really, who gives a fuck what anybody thinks? People make their choices. People choose to lie. People choose to keep secrets. People choose to throw good money away. You don't have to, though. You can learn from it. You don't have to do it. It's not your story. It's theirs, right? You'd be surprised when you're honest who ends up actually coming forward in alignment to help you. Honesty, people know the truth when they hear it. And those who would align with you and help you move forward, they're in alignment with truth. Those are the people you do actually want to move forward with. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Sometimes it just works out. When you choose to be honest and you choose to move forward, even if everything else is a question mark and everything else is unknown, it just works out. And you go from one square to the next square to the next square until you get to where you're going. Like moving a piece across a board game. All these different squares on the path. You just keep making it to the next one. You roll the dice and make it to the next one. You know, like... Sometimes we love people so much, we really don't see the extent of just how bad they are. And their energy, and their choices, and their own ignorance, being their own blind spot, not being able to see themselves, not being able to see how they're wrong, justifying the choices that they make, or the feelings that they feel, not owning the self-improvement. Or where it comes from, right? Where the woundings come from. Not every battle is going to be won. It doesn't mean you stop fighting. It just means some battles are lost, and that's okay. Really. You didn't screw it up. But you are wasting your money on something or someone. Hey, honey. How you doing? And lying is for cowards. Secrets are dishonorable. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Don't fall into that energy of lying and cowardice, because that's the truth. Lying is for cowards, and secrets are dishonorable, period. Who are you aligning with? Because if you would align with anybody who's in this kind of vibration, then you're lying to yourself about the person you're seeing. something to think on. With that, we're wrapping up the readings. I love you all. I hope you all enjoy the replay. Thank you so much for November's all signs hitting 1K views. That's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since anything got 1,000 views on the channel. I'm a little small channel, so things like that are super exciting. Thank you to everybody who was a part of that. It made my whole day when I saw that. And I will see y'all again soon. Take care, everyone.